On June 21, 1978, investigators were confused about the sofa, brutally murdered in the basement of her home, the coffee carafe, and a red Volkswagen. Crime scene perpetrator Alva Bush remained deeply troubled by Dr. Campbell.
He started talking about a Volkswagen. There was a high probability this guy would be a Volkswagen.
But years later, investigators noticed something on a crime scene photograph that had previously been photos. The killer was a red Volkswagen.
And I told him about the Volkswagen.
I asked him to please send me the photographs of
the Volkswagen.
And also to send me a...
John Douglas.
He says, "What about the bite mark?" And I said, "Bite mark? What bite mark? What are you talking about?"
Dr. Campbell
mentioned to his friends that he had seen her body that day.
And what Dr. Campbell said next was even more revealing.
When we looked at
the sofa,
present on the
coffee carafe was a red Volkswagen.
And that was a shock to us, because there's no way that he could have known that unless he put
the Volkswagen
there.
Prosecutors wanted to make sure that the mark was in fact Volkswagen.
I took the third model, and in my opinion, the teeth had all the characteristics teeth would have.
He measured the air. He went back to the teeth. He them different ways. He held them up, and finally he laid the dental impressions on the table, and he pointed to them and he said,
"He had no idea to whom the casts belonged."
The techniques of teeth investigation completely overpowered him.
We were never able to identify what type of instrument had damaged
the sofa.
Fingerprints can make mistakes, things like eyewitnesses don't. And it was my understanding that bite marks, properly preserved, could give you the defendant. He got away with the crime because law enforcement changed his luck.
Get off this aluminum.